Hi everyone! Today I would like to start a new series of videos dedicated to the Tunisian two-color work in the round. When working in the round, as you know, it is necessary to use two balls of yarn at the same time, one for the forward pass and one for the return pass, which, when working in the round, take place in a continuous manner, as there are no rows but spiral rounds. Well, by using two balls of different colors for the two faces, such as these, magnificent color effects can be achieved, especially with certain stitches, so much so that the term Tunisian brioche crochet is often used. So in this series of videos, I want to show you what different Tunisian stitches worked in the round look like using two different colors. So let's begin. Let's start with the simple stitch, the most basic of all Tunisian crochet stitches. First of all, I have made a specific video on the Tunisian crochet in the round technique, the link to which I leave both in the description below and here on the top right of your screen, and which I invite you to go and watch again if necessary. Anyway, here briefly with the yellow color, the one I use for the forward pass, I made a chain of 40 stitches for this simple sample, closed it into a ring, making sure that the chain was not twisted, and started to pull up the stitches on the double-ended crochet hook. Okay. Halfway through the chain, after about 20 stitches, when I was starting to struggle to pick up more stitches, I turned the hook, brought all the stitches towards the opposite end of it, took the black yarn I use for the return pass and crocheted first through one loop, which will be the only time I will do this in the whole project, then through two, each time casting off the stitches until I found myself with 3 to 4 loops on the hook. Afterwards, I turned the hook again and resumed pulling on stitches from the initial chain in the forward pass until the end of the round. In this way, I created the so-called foundation round, which corresponds to row number 1 for me, as you know. From row number 2 onwards, I started to work in Tunisian Simple Stitch in a spiral pattern, alternating forward and return passes. So this is the current result. I will now work a few more rounds so that you can fully appreciate the color effect of working in the round in Tunisian Simple Stitch. So, this is the beginning of the round. You can place a stitch marker, I usually do, so as to know when your rounds begin and end. But also you have this hanging tail that corresponds to the beginning of the round, so it marks the beginning as well as a marking stitch. Anyway, this is how I proceed. As you know, I pick up loops in Tunisian Simple Stitch. So let's say this is enough for now. So just as I explained before, I will show you now. So I turn my hook with all the work with it, pick up the color I use for the return pass, which is the black one in this case, and resume my continuous return pass. So I yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. In this case, when you're using two different colors, you can see that the first loop is in one color and the other loop of the two that you're pulling through into is of the other color. I always leave 3 to 4 loops on the hook when I do the return pass when working in the round, and the reason for this is to maintain the tension of the work you're working on. So now I have my 4 loops left of the return pass. I will turn my hook again and resume working my forward pass with the yellow yarn, just where I left off. Okay, now I am approaching the end of the round. Even though I am not slip stitching, of course, because I'm working in spiral rounds, it is important to always note when you finish a round. So one stitch left to work, and then I can continue just like this in the round, and as soon as I cannot pull up more loops on my hook, I will turn again, tighten my yarn, and proceed with the continuous return pass with the other color. Okay, once again I have my 4 loops left on the hook, and I will turn my work again and resume the forward pass. And this is the color effect. You probably already know this kind of texture because the simple stitch is the most common stitches of the Tunisian collection. So this is still really beautiful. What do you think? Now I would like to show you how to bind off the work in the round, though even for this I've made specific videos. I will repeat it here. So I will make another round and then see you at the end of it to show you what I do when I need to bind off. So here's to the bind off when working Tunisian crochet in simple stitch and 2 colors in the round. So here I have just reached the end of the round. Let's say I want to finish my project. As usual, I have left my 4 loops on the hook, but in case I want to bind off, I need to cast off all stitches except one, so as to align the 2 colors. Okay, so I'll turn again and show you the last return pass of the project. When you need to bind off, is made like this. Okay, so of course I find myself with just 1 loop on the hook in the secondary color, in the black color, the one I used for the return passes. Now I will proceed with the bind off, which is actually the same you use for the when working Tunisian crochet flat, but I have a choice to make. So I can either use the black color I already have on the hook and forget about the yellow one, which I will weave in afterwards, or I can do the same but with the yellow color and forget about the black one, which I will weave in afterwards. Or the third option is to use both colors at the same time to bind off. So let's show you this kind of bind off. So I have the black one on the hook, but it doesn't matter actually right now, since I'm using both yarns to bind off. And I will bind off in simple stitch. You know that I love to bind off using the stitches I'm working with throughout the project. In this case, the simple stitch bind off is the standard one. So I will practically slip stitching throughout the round, okay? So I will go with the hook under the first vertical bar, as if for a Tunisian simple stitch, yarn over with both yarns, pull through, but instead of keeping the loop on the hook, I will pull through it the beginning loop, okay? And this is how I will proceed throughout the round, okay? So here I am at the end of the round with my bind off. 1 stitch left to bind off, the last one, which is a little bit tighter than the rest because I lost my tension here. I changed my tension here. So this is a bind off, and to cut off yarn, I will slip stitch into the beginning stitch, as I usually do with regular crochet. Then I will make a knot and cut off yarn and then weave it in. And this is the beautiful effect of the Tunisian Simple Stitch worked in 2 colors. Okay, hope you like it. One question, very important for me. Please let me know if you think this series of videos showing you different Tunisian crochet stitches in 2 colors is interesting for you. Otherwise, I will not do it. So thank you for watching. This is it for today. Please subscribe to my channel. Leave comments and likes or dislikes if you want. I really appreciate it. I remind you that I have a second channel that is all in Italian but with subtitles, and if you want you can go and take a look at it. I will leave the link in the description and in the top right hand corner of your screen. So this is really it now. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.